So where do I start? Well, it's no secret, but right now the bike industry is in rough shape. And as you may have seen in the title of this video, I'm gonna be losing in 2025 3 of my main sponsors, and I'm gonna be making some changes to this channel. In this video, I want to give you a little bit of an update on what's going on in the bike world, some of my plan for this year, and also I want to share with you some exciting news regarding this channel. Let's get into it. If you do not know me, my name is Rémi Métayer. I'm a professional mountain biker, and I've been doing this as a living for over 10 years. I started my career in 2014 by doing some shreddits in a Whistler bike park. I did some racing. I competed at Red Bull Rampage 4 times. I did some urban downhill events, and now I do some social media content, as well as some video for YouTube and my partners, which is why today we're gonna talk about sponsorship. So I'm not very good at chatting to a camera, so I've got some notes, and forgive me if I look at my computer. So why do I have sponsors? First question, well, YouTube pays a little bit, but not enough for me to be doing that full time. Without sponsor, I just will not be able to do the type of traveling I do, the type of videos I do. So sponsor bring me a financial compensation, but I also really enjoy working with brands in order to give feedbacks on product. First and foremost, I'm a passionate mountain biker, and I'm really nerdy about products. I want the newest, best stuff for my bike, and I really enjoy getting on the new product, trying it, giving it feedback, and hopefully getting the next version better so myself can get better products essentially, but so can you by later on purchasing what becomes available. And a lot of those relationships that I've made with sponsors turn into friendship. Some of my sponsors, some of the people I've been working for a few years now, became some of my best friends. And it is something that I also really enjoy. So in order to chat about sponsorship and what's going on, we need to talk a little bit about the state of the industry. So I'm not a business person. I'm not very qualified to talk about economy, but I feel I still have like a very decent knowledge of the bike industry and what's been going on. If you want more information, I encourage you to check out a podcast I listened recently from Vital Mountain Bike, where they dive deep into what actually happened during COVID. Talking about COVID, this is just a cough. I've done a few COVID tests. So mountain biking had a pretty steady growth since quite a few years. And then 2020 happens. We all know what went on with COVID. The world basically shut down in March of 2020. And that was a very stressful time for everybody, including myself. Why? Because on a professional level, I didn't know what was going on. Bike shops closed down. All the bike brands put the brakes on. They didn't know what was going on. So a lot of the brands canceled their order, put teams and sponsorship in standby until we had a better look at the situation. But as we saw, there actually was a big boom due to COVID in the mountain biking space, which has created a lot of opportunities for people like myself. I definitely benefited from the COVID boom. Why? Because when restrictions started to lift, a lot of people could no longer go to concerts and cinema, and the cities, the restaurants, everything was shut down essentially. So a lot of new people started to get onto mountain biking. Obviously, the diehard mountain biker kept on mountain biking the same way, but new people got into the sport, which was awesome and a great opportunity for someone like myself, simply that brought new people to watch my content, therefore has given me a larger audience and more value for my partners. Now for mountain bike brands, what it meant is, since there was an increase of demand, that was then an opportunity to sell more bikes, more products. So if you followed what happened, or if you try to purchase a bike in 2020, you probably noticed that towards the end of 2020, it was getting really difficult to find some parts, to find some bikes, meaning that most likely you didn't get a deal on a brand new bike at your local bike shop or on your favorite online retailer. Also, the used market became really strong since it was difficult to find new bikes. Bikes in general were difficult to find. If you sold a used bike in 2020, most likely you sold it for a really good price. So when you're a bike company and you see, so all the bike brands have a schedule of how much bikes they plan on selling based on what has been going on over the previous year and how the company is doing, what new exciting products they have. But when you add to the equation something like COVID, where suddenly everybody wants a new bike, most of the brands, or I guess all of the brands, saw that as a huge opportunity to grow. And if I had done a brand, I would have also jumped on the wagon and tried to essentially get more product. But when you want to order more products, it actually takes quite some time. It's not instant. Most of the bikes or bike parts are produced in Asia, in Taiwan. And by the time you want to produce a bike, the factory needs to be available. Often the factories are shared in between several brands, and usually the bigger brands have priority over the smaller brands. So you need to wait for your turn. You can produce X amount of bikes or components. Then if you sell full bikes, you need to get your tires, you need to get your wheels, your transmission, your brakes, your suspension, and there is a ton of moving parts. You can experience much longer delays than normally. Due to COVID, there has been a lot more restriction in Asia, for example, than there was in North America or in Europe. There has been a lot of things that happened that slow down some of the production in some part of Asia, making things even more complicated. And overall, it's been very difficult to navigate. On top of that, the cost of shipping has been higher. So there's been a lot of things going on. And I think it's been extremely challenging, to say the least, for everybody to have an understanding of the situation. And now that everything has calmed down, because it's pretty obvious to me that that demand was not going to keep on going forever. A lot of the people who bought a bike during COVID still have that bike, and that bike is still good, and they don't need yet to purchase a new bike. So to me, it was obvious that it was not going to keep forever, but obviously it's much easier to say that now than during the moment. And some of the leading brands have made a lot of mistakes by ordering too much. So a lot of these people have been doing that for a very long time and are much more experienced than I am. So I do believe the situation was extremely challenging. Fast forward a couple of years, 2023, the demand starts to slow down a lot and actually decreases. But by the time a lot of the brands realized that the demand was decreasing, it's actually really difficult to cancel orders. Some of the time you actually cannot cancel order because it takes so long by the time you start producing the bike to that bike being available for sale in the key market, which is Europe or North America. Everything is essentially so delayed that it's become a really big challenge. And as a result, a lot of most companies right now have a huge amount of stock that they need to get rid of in order to get some cash flow. So cash flow is essentially getting some cash. And in order to sell all that overstock, when the demand is much lower, the only thing you can really do is to discount. So this is why you've been seeing for the past 18 months or so, a lot of the top brands discounting their bikes, sometimes by 50%. Some other brands such as Kona doing buy one bike, get two bikes. There has been a lot of deals to get, and also the used market had been much weaker as a result. So this is what's been going on, but it's been much more than the bike industry. The motorsport industry has been struggling as well. You probably saw the news recently with the group KTM, GasGas Husqvarna, having some financial difficulties. Some other company in the world, but not only. Furniture companies have been struggling as well, and a lot of business have been struggling either during COVID or post-COVID. So now that brings me to chat about what it means for sponsorship. But before I go there, I want to say that you saw the title of the video. Me losing a couple of sponsors is not a big deal. With all those challenges comes a lot of layoff. So there is a lot of people in the bike world, people that I work with that unfortunately have lost their job and their only source of income. So please don't feel bad for me when watching these videos. There is far bigger problem in the world, and mine is definitely not a big problem, but I just wanted to address the situation as obviously I share content with you and I promote partners. I wanted to let you know what was going on. So what it means for sponsorship. The margins have become much smaller, and some company actually ended up losing money. So imagine, which is profit is what's left once you've paid all your costs, is what you use to pay for the marketing. And the marketing is what you use in order to promote a brand, to promote a product and sell it. So it's going to be your sponsorship, it's going to be your racing, your events, your media production, so photo, videos, your ads, all that stuff. All that stuff overall has been completely slashed in 2025. In 2024, it was definitely lower and much lower than I expected it. But in 2025, it's definitely been a big cut and much more than I think anyone really anticipated it. So overall, this is, I believe, from my years of experience, I only started mountain biking professionally in 2014, but by far the toughest year. Marketing budgets are much smaller, and also contracts for athletes are much stricter. Right now, companies, and I totally understand why, don't get me wrong, but expect athletes and content creators to provide more for essentially less. There is more deliverables, the expectations are higher, and also the competition in between riders is higher than ever. The level of talent and the quality of content you see out there just keeps improving, which makes it harder for everybody. On top of that, a few changes in the racing world. Enduro World Series is slowly losing a lot of its attraction. It's becoming much harder for team and for riders to get support, to get rides, simply because the sport isn't really seen. And that would be a topic for a different video, but I find it really sad because I love the sport of enduro. That's what most people actually participate. And I think it's incredible. The racing is really impressive, but sadly, it's not getting the traction. So therefore, the sponsorship on this side is also struggling. And the downhill is, in my opinion, more alive than ever. It is extremely exciting to watch the sport. There's so many talent. Jackson Goldstone, Loic Bruni, Ronan Dune. So many incredible riders. And the times are like closer than ever. I think sport is doing amazing. But with the new ownership of Warner Bros., things are getting trickier for riders and for teams. There is a new system going on. It used to be the top 80 qualify for final, and this year it changed to the top 60 qualify for semi-final, and the top 30 then goes into final. But now there is that new point system making it very hard for teams to get riders. This is not really impacting the top rider and top teams, but definitely impact the more B riders and B teams. And with the industry being this fragile right now, that makes it really difficult, and I'm definitely worried for a lot of riders out there. And I hope things sort out so we get to see some really good racing this year. So now let's talk about what does that mean for me to lose a sponsor. It's a little bit like a breakup in a relationship. It's pretty difficult because you can be emotionally involved with a brand. Like, I see that as much more than a business transaction. I became friends with a lot of my partners, and I truly enjoy the products I'm riding. So having to switch or having to lose one sponsor or switch from one sponsor to another is a lot of stress, but also a lot of work, and therefore that's quite difficult. It's really exciting to work with a new brand, but it's also more work. You get comfortable working with the same brands over and over. You know the people, you know the product. It's easy to order the product. You don't have to try everything. You know what works for you. And sometimes you also get a bit too comfortable, and in order to keep things exciting and keep the fire up, it's nice to have some changes. But for my audience, I like to be faithful, and it's something that I like to promote because I think it gives me a lot of credibility with my partners, but also with the people watching my video when being with the same brand for a long time. So that brings us to the first sponsor I'm parting ways with in 2025. It is backcountry.com. I'm no longer gonna be representing Backcountry for this year, and I have nothing but great things to say about the team. I've been supported the past 3 years, and I'm forever grateful for the opportunity. Together, we've made some really cool projects. The team flew here to Squamish. We've done a video showcasing what I do around home, like all the activities I like to do. That was really fun. I think it turned out awesome. I got to visit the headquarters in Park City a few times. And I also flew to Montana with the team to ride the Legacy Bike Park with Parkin Costain, one of the team riders and pro skier. And that was truly incredible. So I'm super grateful. But that also gives me the opportunity to partner again with Jenson USA. So super stoked to announce that. I'm back riding for Jenson USA. Jenson USA is a leading online bicycle retailer based out of the United States in California, but they sell worldwide. Canada, but also Europe. They have a huge selection of products. Most of the products I ride are available on Jenson. And I'm going to put a link down below. That's going to be my affiliate link. So anytime you do a purchase to any of the product I'm using on the Jenson USA website, that's going to support my channel. And more than ever, that's really important to show the importance of what I do and the value to the partnership. So thank you so much for using that link. Super stoked to be representing Jenson USA. They are actually rider-owned and funded. Mike Cachet, which is the founder, created Jenson USA 30 years ago in 1994, I believe, to finance his mountain bike career, which is pretty awesome. I look forward to meet him because I'm going to go and check out the headquarters. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that partnership. It's going to allow me to do more and better video. So super grateful for the support. Another sponsor I'm going to part ways with is E13. I've been with E13 for the past 8 years, and those were the first carbon wheels I've ever been riding on. And once again, nothing but great thing to say about the company and the product. I truly enjoy using it, but I also look forward to the future. I managed to partner with a hub and a wheel partner, and it's going to be super cool. I won't share too much information right now, but it's going to be a cool story. I'll go and visit the company. They're pretty local to me, that's all I can say, but I'm super excited to start showing you the products. And to finish on the topic of sponsors, I'm also parting ways with my longest sponsor, which is Camelback. I've been with Camelback for over 10 years, and they've supported me since the beginning of my career, basically. Together, we've done a lot of trips. They helped me to put together a lot of projects. And what I really enjoyed about that partnership is that I was using the backpack not because I had to, but because I needed a backpack for the type of riding I do. I'm out there filming for 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 or 12 hours, and I need water. On my bike, I've got a water bottle, but I also need a backpack with water bottle and to carry other essentials. A lot of the bike, including my Propane Spindrift, has a storage on the down tube, which you can put some food, you can put some tools, a layer, but I need to carry more water, which is why I ride with a backpack nearly every single day. But with the departure from Camelback, I was able to partner with a company I've looked up to for a very long time. As you know, I'm a moto fan. I ride some enduro moto, and this brand absolutely leads in this world. Their product is super cool. They sent me a few samples to try, and I've been extremely happy with it. The fit is perfect for me. The bag doesn't move. You probably know who I'm talking to or who I'm talking about if you have any interest into the motor world. But yeah, I'm excited to properly announce that in the next few weeks. It's going to be awesome. So that's it for the sponsor part. Now, what's next for the channel? Well, I'm going to keep doing the same. Don't worry. We're going to have a lot of trail previews. I'm going to discover new location, ride with new riders, do some explanation of feature. I'm going to share as much riding tips as possible, as well as doing some product knowledge and product review. But there's one big thing I'm going to add. It's going to happen right here. I've got a new couch. The wall behind me is painted. I've got some stuff hanging on. New camera, new mic, another camera. And I'm going to be receiving guests. I'm going to start filming some video podcasts. So in the comment below, let me know who you want my first guest to be. But I've been listening to some podcasts and definitely been inspired by quite a few of them. En Roue Libre, which is a French podcast. If you speak French, definitely recommend listening to it. Downtime podcast, Vital Mountain Bikes, a Pink Bike podcast, as well as Gypsy Tales. If you like moto and bikes, it's a really fun one to check out. But I thought that in my situation, I have a really good knowledge of the industry, but also I'm lucky enough to know a lot of the most talented rider in the world, as well as a lot of bike brands, people in the industry, photographer, videographer, and I think we can come up with some really cool content together. So I look forward to get that on top of my usual content. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, give me a like, leave me a comment, and more than always, check out the link down below, because for the next couple of years, all those purchases you're gonna make using those links are really gonna support my channel and myself. So thank you so much for that. That's it for today. See you next week.